What up, though? What up, though? What's going on? What's going on over here? What is everybody doing? So I wanted to tell y'all something. I was watching that show the other day, that Blueface and Christian or whatever, and I'm nobody. Like, it's not my place to be judging anybody or anybody's situation. But because of my spiritual gift, I wanted to share something about that, because it is just my opinion, but it's my opinion based off of one, experience, two, off of my spiritual gift, and three, but because of the blessing of God, Father God, the discernment that I have. And excuse me, my throat's been like this all week, and I know, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to silence me, but it can't, you know what I mean? Anyway, back to what I was saying. That whole thing about that Blueface and Christian, my daughter was watching it, and I told her, it's nothing personal. It's just that I've been there. I've been there, done that. Oh, I won't ever do that again. And I learned my lessons on that. I told my daughter, she was watching that, and I told her, that show? And she was like, yeah. And I said, that's everything what not to do in a relationship, how not to be. She was like, why is that? Why are they like that? She was young, I was like, why are you even watching that? But I was watching it, and I was with my stepdaughters, and we were watching it, and I was just like, I could, it was wrong for me to see what they were thinking, but I have that gift. And I don't ever go into people's minds or invade their privacy, because I don't want my privacy invaded. It's a respect thing. That's why I am who I am. That's why I have the gifts that I have, because God knows who I am in my heart. And He knows that I'm not vindictive. He knows I don't have evil intentions. It's never, for me, it's about healing. Nothing more. It's not about money. It's not about the clout. It's about healing the world. And people keep sharing little clippets of the videos of them and pointing fingers, who's toxic, who's not toxic. That whole environment's toxic, I'll tell you off the back. But there was a scene that I saw, and it made me emotional. And it was a scene, I'm getting goosebumps just even thinking about it. It's the scene where after she breaks the bottle on his head, and she's there like trying to get it out, I think with a vacuum or something, and he's just there like, and he's there and he's making a face like he's just in his head like, damn, and I could see him, I could feel him, I could feel Blueface, I could see him, I could hear what he was thinking, and he was in despair. It was like he knew he created that monster. He knew she's responsible for her own actions. She is responsible. She will have to take accountability. Everybody has to take accountability. He's not responsible for actions, but he's responsible for a lot of chaos he created in women's lives and girls' lives when he had that show and he was letting girls fight and he was getting off to it and he was making money off of them. And now he done fell in love with the one that's just like the environment he created. What he rapped about, what all rappers rap about, is what they manifest into their own existence. Like Dolph. And I love Dolph, man. I love Dolph. Dolph came to me when he first died. I cried. My son goes, why are you crying? You don't even know him. I was like, because he was a real MF, you know what I mean? He was a real dude. If you know, you know. And there's not that many left. And I cried for Dolph. And he came to me for a split second. And I'll tell you what, he was there saying Dolph. And he said, play when doves cry. That's what he told me. And Just as quick as he came, he was out. R.I.P. Dolph. Anyway, and I could see Blueface's face, like that feeling of despair. And it's like, you know, they were making memes about him, right? They're making memes about him, like, oh, you know, when your girl toxic and da-da-da and this and that. But he was more like, the one girl I love. I fell in love with this girl, you know. He was thinking, like, I fell in love with her. And she's everything that I didn't want her to be. But it's my fault because I pushed her to be that way. I molded her into that person. And not just that. I could tell that they were under spell work. I could tell you that Christiane was just being, like, numb. She had no emotion in her. She was just numb. She was just, like stupid, you know what I mean? She wasn't even real. Like, she was like trying to get the glass out with a vacuum. Like, for real? Get out of here, dude. You know what I mean? Like, he was just looking like, man, this chick's a robot. Like, she wasn't even acting compassionate. It was like a dry compassion. It was like fake, you know what I'm saying? And you could tell he was just like, man, this ain't the girl I fell in love with. And the girl I fell in love with is long gone. I believe in Hollywood that they do spell work to control people. The ones who haven't completely sold their soul, I think they do spell work on them. Because, like I said, you have to be in a low vibration for it to affect you. And only low vibrational people do spell work. And it only affects low vibrational people. And she's in her south node because she's not being how God created her to be. That's not how he created us to live. But it's almost like he created that. He manifested that into his own environment. Because deep down inside, he knows he wants love. Deep down inside, he knows he loves her. And that feeling of despair was him crying because he was like the one girl he did love. The one girl that was the one that he really loved and fell for was everything that she shouldn't be. And he was talking to himself like, all of this for a show? I sacrificed love for a show, for this toxic. Like, I created this mess. It's not even worth the show. What did I do? And now it's too far. He feels like it's too far gone. Like, how am I going to get her out of this? It's in her head now, that the clout and rising to the top, and he knows we're gonna end up killing each other. And he was saying in his head, this girl's gonna end up killing me, bro. At this point, this chick's a Jezebel. And it was hurting him because he loves her. He fell in love with her. And he was sad because he was like, we still got this contract to fulfill. And we're feeding people this talk. He knows he was wrong. And he closes his eyes because he wants to cry. And she's like, babe, what's wrong? And he closes his eyes and he's praying in his head. And he's apologizing to God. And he's saying, God, I'm sorry. God, I know I was wrong. I should have did that with all them girls. Like, this is my karma. You know, like, I made this. I created this monster. I made this. And he wanted to cry. That's why he got up and walked out. But I could see everything. And she was just there, like, trying to put the pee in his face. You know what I mean? She was there. And he knew in his heart, like, she's gone. Like, she was numb. She was programmed. She was out of there. And all he could think about was him serving her that liquor, provoking her, getting off to that, like, the table turned on him. Everything that he was pushing her to do, she did it. But deep down inside, there's a piece of her that was fighting because she does love him. And there's a piece of him that loves her too. But he was crying because he knew that the bridges were burned already. And he was like, I'm going to end up hurting her. She's going to end up hurting me more than... And all for what? For entertainment? And God was letting him know, remember you had that house with all them girls? Think about how many girls you hurt. Think about how many girls... Look at the way you've had women on TV. Look at the way... These are people's daughters. These are my children, God tells him. And you're over here taking advantage of that. Like, taking advantage of their vulnerabilities. Taking advantage of not appreciating the woman for who she is in her body. And for his own personal reasons, you know? And for his own self-gain of fame and fortune. And God saying, was it worth it? Because now look, you did it to the one girl that didn't have it coming. The one girl you fell in love with, you created her the way, like, you treat her like all the rest. And you regret it. That's your own doing. You did that. And it was sad because he was crying in his mind. He was praying. And he was thinking, the one I do want to be with, the one I do love, the one that was worth it, I can't look at how it's too far gone. Now, if I want, at this point, if I want her, it's going to be this every time. And he was kind of owning up. He was kind of taking accountability to God that it's his own fault that she's like this. And he was even saying it's not worth the show. He doesn't care if she rises to the top and he has to fall off. Because he knows that if I fall off, Blueface is smart. He's saying, if I fall off, I'll still live. I'll still be alive. I'll still be here. I can always make a comeback. I could always do anything else. But he was sad because he knows that she's so far gone in her head that the clout and all the entertainment thing is just too far. Like, she's under a spell, and he knows it, and he's responsible for her. So he knows even if they split up, and he knows they're gonna split up. Like, he knows, like, I can't. If I stay with him, we're gonna kill each other. It's not worth the fame and all that. It's not gonna last. Only true love will overcome all that situation. Unconditional love. So what he's saying is that he knows in his heart that God was telling him, whatever happens to this girl, whether you're here or not, you're responsible for every tear. You're going to be held accountable for every tear. Yes, she's responsible. She's going to be held accountable too. No one's going to get off and blame it on nobody. But in his heart, he knows he's responsible because he quote unquote chose her. She quote unquote chose him. And maybe they were put together to defy the odds of toxicity. Maybe they were together to show people that they could overcome all things. And instead, they played into it for clout. They played into it for money. And Blueface was like, it wasn't worth it, dude. That's why he doesn't care about if his rate's going down. He doesn't care about if he's coming up or not. He knows in his heart, he did it to the wrong girl. And his karma is his own doing. And he can't undo it. Only true unconditional love can undo it. And they both have to have it. And he knows right now at that point in her life, the clout and the fame is happening so fast that it's like when you get the money before the healing, you destroy yourself. You have to heal first to establish that patience, to establish that will to control yourself, to have that self-control and have that discipline. And she doesn't have it. He does. He's just, a little extra, but that's just, that's entertainment for you, I guess. But he's so heartbroken. And I know when his eyes were closed, he was praying to God. He was saying, dang, God, like, what did I do? What did I do, man? And God was like, this is your doing. You wanted, this is the environment you love. You love me. You made a show based on stuff like this. There you go. You got it. And he got it with the one he fell in love with. And that's why he was crying, because he was like, if I stay with her, we're going to kill each other. And then so at that point, he was kind of praying to God and apologizing, saying, I'm sorry. If you could undo it. If I could undo this, do it. Please, God, undo it. Bring me back the girl that she truly was and is, that I love, that I fell in love with, that I know she could be. And that's how he was crying in his mind, because he was like, at this point, it's going to take a real tower moment for her to have that realization, because she's under a spell. And so then I guess they got drunk or stoned or whatever, and his manager's talking to him, and he's there looking down like a little kid, like he's a grown man. And his manager's telling him, like, your rates are dropping, da-da-da. And he's just looking around like a little kid, like if he's getting scorned, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't even want to look him in the eyes. He was ashamed. Like a child, like God says, like a child doing childish things, childish behaviors. And they get the results that a child would, because Father God loves us. We're his children, so he'll discipline us like his children. He'll treat us like his children. He'll put you in timeout. He'll make you sit in your choices. And everything he does is because you did it. You created it that way. You don't appreciate love, you won't have it. You don't appreciate, you don't know how to take care of your relationship, you won't have one. You disrespect women, you'll be disrespected. What you put out is what you get. And Blueface is too smart. He knows that, and he was praying in his mind. And then the next thing, she was trying to vacuum his head out, right, with that. And all he was thinking was, I need to get away from this chick. You know, this chick's going to kill me, and I need to get away from her before I end up reacting, because I can't control my anger. I better get away. This chick, at this point, this chick's down to kill me. She's just, now at this point, she's gone. She's going to kill me. Her whole purpose in being right now, has in that Jezebel spirit, her whole purpose in being right now is to take me out. I'm the threat now. I'm the enemy. And she's looking in the mirror, and this really freaked me out, because she's looking in the mirror, and she's saying to herself, take no shit. The nigga want to pop off, excuse my language, if he wants to pop off, crack a bottle on his head. And she's looking in the mirror, and the mirror is your reflection. The mirror is like your polar opposite. So if you're like I said, you're half angel, half devil, right? It's all about the light and the dark. Who are you? What are you going to use? And the point is that if she was talking to her reflection is her opposite side. So if she's an angel, because God created us to be beautiful and be clean-hearted and be clean-spirited, or however you want to explain it. She's looking in the mirror, and the mirror was talking to her, and it was showing the mirror, telling her, crack a bottle on his head, hurt him, take no shit. It was like mind controlling her. Herself was telling herself to do harmful things to him, and to take no shit, and like she was a bad bitch or whatever. And that broke my heart, dude. I saw that and I was like, look, it's her opposite side. What's the opposite of light? Dark. What's the opposite of good? Evil. She's not an evil person. She's under spell work. She's under spell work. Because that's what they do to them whenever they don't have their souls yet. They put them under spell work. And they're like robots. And she was like that. She was like that. And it was sad. I saw that and I said, look, her dark side was telling her, take no shit, break a bottle on his head, crack a bottle on his head, and don't, you're bad, and this and that. And it was sad. I was like, at this point, he even knew she's not the girl she's supposed to be, the great God creator. And he was telling God he was sorry. God was like, you have to sit in it. You made it this way. Deal with the consequences. You want to cry now, but you were laughing when you were collecting money on all their lives and all their pain and humility. And you would be damned if you were humiliated, right? Not you. And it's almost like, even if now they're making memes about him. Now they're saying, oh, like they're making fun of the way he looked, but he was making that face, like when he's just staring off, like he wants to cry and he's holding back. He's in his mind praying to God, saying, what did I do? He's coming to realization that the one girl he loved, he didn't want her to be like this. She wasn't supposed to be like this. He did that. And he was sorry about it. He was regretting it. And he tried to walk up and she was just following him. And he goes in the car and she pulls the Band-Aid out. She rips it off his head. And he's just like, she's all like, oh, get this Band-Aid out. And you keep in mind, I've had staples in my head. I've had a bottle busted on my head before. I had to get 3 staples. And when I saw his gash, I said, oh, he needs staples. He needs stitches. I've had that before. And that's exactly what his manager told me. You need staples. You need stitches. And she goes in the car and she rips the Band-Aid off to like expose his wound, because when your wound is exposed like that, there's a good thing and a bad thing about it, because it's open to get bacteria and get infected, because it's not covered up properly, like medically. And also it's good because the air, God will heal it with his breath. He could heal it, but the stuff they put in the air nowadays, it's like, you don't want to have an open wound. Someone was like, damned if you do and damned if you don't. But it doesn't have to be that way. It's however you create it to be. What you speak into existence is what will be. You manifested this. And now at this point, he's like, I got to get away from her for the sake of us living, for the sake of our lives. And she won't let him. She won't escape him because she's in quote unquote love with him. But it's a love spell. Father God said he'll cut the hands off of witchcraft and bind them with their own spells. I pray to God that all love spells are broken all around the world, and that people wake up and that true love overcomes all things. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Pray for them. And don't be making fun of people's situation, because it could easily be you. You don't know what you do and the things you say. Every little word you manifest into existence is your own. We create our own hell. We have that ability. Don't speak bad on people and don't make fun of people, because it could easily be you. You want to laugh about it, you'll be that. You want to talk about it, you'll be that. Be careful what you say. Be mindful. God says be mindful of what you say and what you do. What you give is what you'll get. What you say is what will be. As above, so below. God bless, guys.